Hi, I'm Dr. Wordperson, and today we're going to talk about where the Greek myths came from. It might seem really weird, this idea that the Greek myths came from somewhere instead of just having been handed down from the heavens or something. But instead, what we know today as Greek mythology actually comes from a number of different sources, from the Greeks' own inherited mythology, to the myths and literature of their neighbors, to historical events that passed into legend. So anyway, what are the sources of Greek myth? One source, naturally, is the mythology that the Greeks inherited from their Indo-European ancestors. This includes a smattering of gods, like Zeus, the father sky god, cognate to Latin Jupiter and Vedic Dyauspatar, O Father Sky. This also includes some myths like Prometheus's theft of fire, and also some setups to myths that have their roots in Indo-European social customs. Take, for example, the marriage difficulties of Penelope and the contest of the bow in the Odyssey, and Helen's weird abduction marriage in the Iliad. Another place the Greeks got their myths was the people who were already living in Greece when the Greeks arrived. This includes like the goddess Athena and a lot of the myths and legends surrounding Crete, like how a guy named Daedalus built the labyrinth for the Minotaur. A third source for the Greek myths was the neighboring cultures of the ancient Near East. There are myths from the Hittites and other cultures they absorbed, like the Hattians and the Hurrians. You know how Demeter gets really mad and storms off and now everybody is starving? Yeah, the prototype for that is a Hattic myth. The Greeks also borrowed myths from various Semitic traditions. You know how that one guy was interested in Artemis and she turned him into a wild animal that got attacked by his own dogs? Yeah, Ishtar did that too. And of course the plot arc of Achilles in the Iliad, where you have the emotional hero with a best friend and a goddess mother, and then the best friend dies and he is inconsolable and then finally talks to some wise old guy who gets him to accept his own mortality. Yeah, that's pretty much the plot arc of the protagonist of the Sumerian epic Gilgamesh. And finally, the Greeks took their own history and turned it into myths and legends. You know the whole debate over whether or not the Trojan War really happened? So it didn't go down like the Iliad, but Hittite historical documents do talk about some folks called the Ahiawa, Achaeans, including a guy named Alexander, Paris, messing around in the same general area as places called Taruisa, Troy, and Wilusa, Ilion. Yes, my friends, many of the Greek myths go back to historical events in the Bronze Age, but it would have been really nice if the Greeks, and not just the Hittites, had been, writing this sort of stuff down. So there you have it. The Greek myths are a glorious synthesis of all the awesome myths the Greeks came across. So the next time you sit down to read some Greek literature, take a moment to appreciate the many generations of singers and poets and storytellers all over Greece and the ancient Near East that all came together to bring us this. So that was the show. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe and tell your friends. And if there are any Greek myths you'd like me to cover in more detail, let me know in the comments.